Here is a glimpse of our resin kit. It's a 16 inches base, and you're gonna get this dial into this one. Apart from that, there is a fiber glasses, required quantity of a resin and hardener, binder and the powder, pigment powder. Here is the alcohol ink. There's a chalk paint, and apart from that, two more pigment powders which is required to make this clock kit. Let's get started. Very first step, I'm just going to paint my base with the chalk paint. You can also use any gesso which is required. So I'm taking a black color chalk paint because my clock is going to be a black. Once my base is dry, I'm just gonna set my dial into the center just for my reference of a setting of my fiber glasses. So here these are the crushed glass or a fiber glass, and I'm just gonna set them around the clock to make sure it doesn't disturb the dial setting. So here we have set all the fiber glasses around the clock, and now I'm gonna lift my dial and I'll make sure there's nothing in the center. Meanwhile, if you find something, you can just clean your base neatly before you start making your resin and hardener. And none of your glass should be, crushed glass should be in the center. So we have to set them all around the edges. So now, as per my calculation, I'm just gonna use my resin and hardener into an empty container, and I'm gonna mix both the one, and the resin and hardener which I'm using is a 2:1. So here is the resin and here is the hardener. Once you mix them both, you have to stir them very well. While stirring, you will find two shades of resin here, and you have to stir till it becomes a one shade. At least 2 to 3 minutes is required. So whenever you're working with your resin and hardener, make sure you wear your gloves. And now when my resin and hardener component is mixed very well and all it's looking nice consistency, I'm just gonna pour a little clear resin on my edges. Very little you have to pour. It will automatically drip everywhere. So now the leftover resin and hardener, I'm just going to take it into two glasses. A very little quantity, I'm just going to take it out. That's for the golden and silver color. So just see about 10 ml in each glass. How to take your resin and hardener, the calculation I'm gonna show at the end of my video. So once these two are done, I'm just gonna add a little of my gold powder. Here this is a gold pigment powder by iCraft. Just need to add a pinch of it. And now I'm just adding a moon white pigment powder. Again, that's by iCraft. Here you go. And rest of the resin and hardener, I'm just gonna mix my black color alcohol ink. Here I'm just gonna store them with my line. And you can give it a nice rhythm in a thin line. So here is this beautiful marble effect where all the colors are spread so beautifully. Resin is getting set for 12 hours. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna make binder for my clock. Here I'm just taking some golden pigment powder, the same golden pigment powder, and now into this one I'm just gonna use my binder. And we will mix this paint together. Mix it well and stir it well. And the same we are going to use to bend our clock dial. Meanwhile, you can paint this dial as a gold. Make sure even you paint your edges. Once the clock is semi-dry, now fit your dial in between and set it properly in the center. Once it's done, allow it to dry for 12 hours. Once it's dry, it completely looks nice and clean. Now at the behind, a few drops of corn of resin and hardener, you can just clean them by using your heat gun and a prick tool. Just heat it wherever your drop is there and use any prick tool to remove from your base. This is how you can make your back surface clean and smooth. by removing excess resin. This step can be done once it's dry. After that, you can take a chalk paint and give a nice base coat. So here your clock is almost ready. Now it's time for edging. We will use a pigment powder. Add some binder into the glass. Mix with the brush and make it a flowy consistency. Will be a proper liquid paint to apply on your edges, and that will give a additional beauty to your clock. So here on the edges we are just giving a random painting, and the sides too. You can color 1 or 2 glasses. This is how we will give all around the clock. After that, it's time to fit your clock machine and hands. And your clock is ready to go on the wall.